Hey guys, Jeremiah with Steps Pressure Washing and More. I want to talk to you about two very popular ways about doing soft washing with a pressure washer. So the biggest thing that you're going to want is you're going to need a way to apply chemical downstream from your pump. So two ways that we can do that is using the XJET or using the Jrod. So these two things are very commonly used, and some people like myself will actually utilize both of them. So let's talk a little bit about the XJET first. So the XJET is an at the nozzle chemical injector. So what that means is you're going to be able to apply chemical, skipping running chemical through your hose entirely, but also you have to carry around the chemical all the way around the house as you go. On the other hand, the Jrod, you do have to get a downstream injector as well. So with the downstream injector, you're able to inject the chemical at the site of the pressure washer, which generally is going to be on your truck or on your trailer, and not have to carry the chemical around the whole house with you. So you do have to have a second piece of equipment to make the Jrod work, but it allows you to also walk with your hands free other than having the pressure washer lance and just carrying your hose around with you as well. The XJET is pretty much instantaneous. As soon as you hook it up to chemical and flip the switch on, you've got Chem running immediately onto whatever you're spraying it on. The Jrod, you've got to run the water out of your line before you get to Chem, and then you also have to run the Chem out of your line before you can get to water. Atomization. So you're going to get some atomization coming out of your XJET because it does create a higher pressure, which then creates a bit more of the mist. The Jrod, you're going to get a ton of atomization because it uses a much higher pressure, which we're going to get to in just a second. So that's going to create that big cloud that you're kind of used to seeing when you think of pressure washing, is that just cloud of misty air coming around, and that's going to be coming from the Jrod with the higher pressure nozzles. PSI between the two, my current pressure washer, I idle at about 4,400 PSI, and that's what I have my unloader set to. I have, when I run out of my XJET, I'm running at about 500 PSI, which it does create some pressure, but nothing super crazy, just enough to really create a high pressure in your line. The Jrod, on the other hand, my 25-degree nozzles on the Jrod, I'm pushing about 3,000 PSI. So in order to soft wash, I do have to be pretty far back off of the house in order to get the same low pressure effect as I would with the XJET. Chemical injection. Okay, so this is one of the biggest ones. If you get the XJET kit, you're going to actually be able to use different inserts into the injector barb, and that's going to allow you to draw different ratios of Chem to water. So if you have, a 15% or a 12.5% or a 10% of SH, you're able to just swap out the different inserts into your injector barb and pull straight SH out of the bucket to get your desired mix for a house wash. The Jrod, the downstream injector, you can go to a 1.8, a 2.1, or a 2.4 downstream injector. Those are the orifice sizes. The larger the orifice, the more Chem you're going to pull. You can kind of do a similar thing there where you just have to switch out your downstream injectors to pull a different grade of Chem, but for me, I usually get somewhere between 12.5 to 15% SH from where I purchase it from. So if I pulled straight SH out of my 2.1 injector, I would be hitting about 2% on the house. So I actually have to water mine down in order to create a safe mix to run through my line. If I did the XJET, all I would have to do was pick the appropriate insert for the injector barb, and then I would just be ready to go. As well, with the Jrod, you're really kind of capped at that, whatever percentage it's going to get at, because you're not going to be able to pull a super hot mix of anything. So if you're trying to pull something 4-to-1 or 6-to-1 or whatever you're looking for, you're going to actually be able to do that with the XJET. And you're not going to be able to do that with the downstream injector because mine pulls a 7-to-1 every single day, 7-to-1, 7-to-1, 7-to-1. So if I wanted to, I could actually use my XJET for, things like post-treating driveways, which is primarily what I use the injector barb for, is the post-treatment of driveways. But if I ever needed to use a degreaser or, you know, gutter butter or anything like that where I was just spraying it through at a diluted ratio, I could just hook it up to my XJET and carry it around with me. Another determining factor here is going to be price. So an XJET kit is about $150, and that includes the nozzle, it includes the hose, filter, and the injector barb inserts. Your Jrod is going to be probably somewhere around $40, and then another $30 to $40 for a downstream injector. So you're looking at about 80 bucks kind of top end on that. And I'll put links in the description for all of these as well. You're going to be coming out much cheaper with the Jrod than you are with the XJET. The XJET does have some capabilities that the Jrod is not going to be able to do. The Jrod is going to have some capabilities that the XJET's not going to be able to do. If you guys are enjoying this video, make sure to give us a thumbs up and to hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. Okay, so there is a third option between the XJET and the Jrod. Okay, so this is actually something that I do myself, and this is kind of a hybrid between the two. I have basically made an M5 Twist Jrod using the XJET along with the M5 Downstream nozzle and using a 3-nozzle Jrod holder. And what that allows me to do is it allows me to use the low pressure M5 Downstream to trigger the downstream injector open, and then when I switch over to the XJET, it will switch the downstream injector closed. So it allows me to do things like the going from a needle to a fan with just a twist on both of them. As well, it allows me the ability to have that injector barb at the nozzle if I need it. So when I do the post-treatments of driveways, or if I ever need a stronger mix of anything, or I need to downstream a different chemical, I can do it right there at the nozzle and still have the downstream injector back on the trailer when I'm ready to pull my normal house wash mix. So if I had to choose between the two, I would say I would go with XJET. If I was just starting out 100%, I would XJET, and then I would be able to, after my first job or two, I'd be able to purchase the Jrod setup as well. Or what I would prefer is to do the M5 Twist. Once I already have the XJET, I could just get the M5 Downstreamer, build myself a new Jrod like I have, and run the downstream injector without any of the high pressure nozzles and just using these two. All right, well, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and y'all be safe out there.